What is going on, everybody? Hopefully, audio is working, and hopefully the video is working. So, let's see how many people we can get in here tonight. Hopefully we get a few people rolling in here soon. Tonight we are going to be talking about the pacesetter chassis for the SCX10 Pro. This is our 10-degree angled skid chassis for the Pro. Let me see if Wesley will be joining us tonight. Hopefully he will be. We'll see. If he does, it'll just be in the chat. It won't be on video tonight. But he's finishing up moving into his new place. He told me the other day that the move went well, so hopefully he gets his internet up and going. What's up, everybody? Theron, Tim, Harley, what's going on, guys? Excited to get mine. Yours is in a box on the counter. I missed the UPS guy by like 10 minutes today. I had a bunch of things going on this morning, and I was trying to get everybody's chassis cut and boxed and packed and labeled before the UPS guy got here, but I just didn't have them done in time. So they will go out first thing in the morning, though. They're all stacked up on the counter. So anybody who ordered a carbon pacesetter chassis, it'll be out the door first thing tomorrow morning with the morning UPS guy. So, but I spent my entire day cutting chassis, and there are more on the website already now. I was planning on having them on the site tomorrow, but I got them on there today. Aloha, how's it going? So this is the pacesetter chassis. This is what we've been talking about a little bit about in here the last couple of weeks, and finally released it on Friday night. We had some storms rolling through Friday night, and I had some extra time on the computer, so I decided just to go ahead and get them on the site and get them released on Friday night. So I was planning on doing it today, but Friday night seemed to work out pretty good. I can send Tim's to you. Well, you can just steal his. You can steal his Oracle from him because he's going to swap to this, so he'll have an extra set of rails. But yeah, there's more of these back on the site now. The 4-link links are on the site also and available. And they're selling good. I'm happy with the way they're selling. I saw a guy in one of the SCX10 Pro groups that has an Oracle, placed like 4th in a comp over the weekend, so that was cool. Seeing people already doing well with the flat rail chassis, or the flat skid chassis too. So, and again, you can still use regular skid plates if you want to run something other than the SCX10 Pro transmission. So you can change that up. Wraps. I was going to talk about wraps a little bit. I got a roll of matte finish vinyl instead of the gloss, so I think I'm going to put some gloss or some matte finished wraps on the site probably tomorrow. Some different patterns and in matte finish instead of gloss. So those will probably be on the site tomorrow. I've got my kid here tomorrow morning. He's on spring break, so he will be in the shop with me tomorrow, so I'll have some computer time while he goofs off and plays. I don't like having the machines running with sharp spinny things with a 6-year-old running around the shop, so I'll have to do quiet things in the morning while he's here. Not that I think he would get his hand anywhere he shouldn't, but I'd just rather not take that chance at all. I don't want to have to call my wife and be like, hey, so this happened. Yeah. But I spent a couple more days last week doing some testing with this. All went well. I got my little tugger installed on last week's stream. I haven't spooled it yet. But I did get my receiver. I've got my other receiver sitting in here so that I can actually use the winch, because the radio and receiver I was using out of the, I don't even know what it came out of, maybe the base camp, did not have a momentary third channel. So yeah, guess I'll make another wrap order this weekend. Nice. And he would not do it again. No, I think you lose one finger and you learn your lesson. So I just prefer not to have to call my wife about that, though. So what's up, guys and gals? Yep, I agree. What's up? Another night in the shop. Let's see, it's 8:06 and I've been here since about 7:05 this morning, so I've had a half day today. I'm ready to go home and take a nap and come back tomorrow morning. But do you guys have any questions about this? I feel like we've kind of talked about this enough over the last couple weeks that there's really not anything really new to discuss about it, other than I guess, you know, the information's out there that it is a 10 degree angle on the skid compared to the factory's like 3.3. I did put a light over there this time, so you can actually see the chassis now. Yeah, been at it since 2 this morning. Hope you get paid well. I only get paid by you guys, so but I did spend most of the day, like I said, making chassis that were already sold, so it makes it worth coming to work. But oh man, 2 o'clock till 8. Nope. There's not a whole lot of you in here, like a dozen or so people in here. One of our team drivers posted a video of him crawling with his truck over the weekend, and nobody has noticed yet, but I will tell you, I'll hint to you guys, that if you go to the Brazen fan page, that one of our team drivers posted a video of his truck, and if you really pay attention to it, you'll get a sneak peek at a product that is coming very soon. He was testing and tuning, and I'm glad he posted the videos, because I'm curious if anyone will catch on to it and pay attention to see what it is. So another thing, we got purple rotors from Hibby this week. They came in today. So if you guys are interested in purple anodized brake rotors, I will get these photographed in the morning and put on the website also. Yeah, you guys are the important ones. No comment. But yes, check out the fan page and see if you guys can spot it. How much for 4? I think it's $50 for a set of 4. I think they're $25 a pair. I'd have to check again, but pretty close. Pretty sure that's right around there. But they are awesome. Purple anodized aluminum and then remachined, and they're very lightweight. I'll show them to you again here. Dying for C1 Pro sliders. Yeah, well, like we talked about last week, Wesley was moving over the weekend, and now that he got all of his stuff moved over the weekend, this weekend, and now he can get back to that type of stuff. So it shouldn't be too much longer. It is priority to get that stuff back in stock. So they're coming. Be patient, just a little bit, please. Which driver? I'm not telling you which driver. You got to figure it out. There's a video of a truck, and you got to figure out which one it is and what you're supposed to be looking at. What else can we talk about? I'll show you guys the comparison with the 10-degree angled skid versus the factory. There's quite a bit of belly difference there between the two. Now the light's almost too bright. Won't build my truck without them. That's the last part that goes on. You can build the entire truck around it. Get to see that truck perform all day, and it was amazing. Yeah, it looked like it was working really well with those tires on it. So I was skeptical of the tires that he chose to begin with, and it looked like it was working pretty well with them. I'll wait as long as it takes. Yeah, they're coming. I promise. I promise. They're top priority now. Just ready to share the one I got. So here, I'll do it for you. There. Shared the one Tim's got. This was a prototype version. This is not a finalized version, but this was extremely long back here for no reason other than it was a prototype. Basically, it's a shortened height version of the high-low with CMS and stuff. But this, like I said, this is not a production. This isn't even what they look like now. So I'll show this off a little bit. But compared to a regular high-low, let's see if I have a front shock hoop. So, front shock hoop, height. If you bolt a front shock hoop on this one, the difference in this is pretty drastic. This actually happens to be a flat belly one. So, yeah. This is just, like I said, prototype. Not going to be, this is not at all what they look like anymore. If you compared it to a C1 Pro, basically it was a forward mounted skid compared to the C1 Pro, but it had the same CMS and the same forward motor mount locations and stuff. The issue with this is trying to get a forward motor mount and a transfer case in here and having the prop shaft angles not be absolutely ridiculous. You almost had to use the Squints forward motor mount because that moved it sat forward of the Toizuki or TGH ones, where those kind of sit square with their mounting. The Squints one was mounted further forward, so you almost had to run that particular forward motor mount with that specific design. So that's why it's not production. I need to try to mock up one with the Pro forward motor mount. I kind of want to try to do something a little bit more custom build chassis wise out of the Pro. Instead of just being 100% bolt on, I kind of want to do something where you would basically just use the axles and the motor mount and then build a custom truck from there, just because that's kind of what I like to do. I do really like this SCX10 Pro as a truck, and I do like the drivetrain. It's smooth, it's quiet, it seems to be working pretty well. Got plenty of scratches on the links and the axles, but not really anything on the skid plate. There's a couple of scratches on the skid, but the nice thing about that 10-degree angle is it keeps the skid off of the ground. So hopefully that just keeps going that way. Keep the skid in nice shape. Want it to look brand new when I'm done with it for the year. But actually drive it. Speaking of actually drive it, we talked last week about my Class 3 truck and how I was considering selling it. I sold it. I sold it to a team driver, and it is on its way to Hawaii. And assuming USPS does their job, he should probably receive it tomorrow. So hopefully it'll get driven and get used the way I should have used it. But like I said last week, if I decide to build another one, I can build another one. It's not like they don't sell parts to build Class 3 trucks every day. So, what's up? Yes, what is up? Did you guys get any of the nasty weather in Illinois over there over the weekend or on Friday night? We had some gnarly wind come through. We didn't get any of the tornadoes, thankfully, but the temperature went from about 60 to 34 in about an hour and a half, and then it got super windy. Tornado sirens were going off, but it really wasn't that big of a deal. So, howdy howdy. Nice little wave there. I need to get a body on this truck though, because I keep testing and driving it without the body on it, and every time I roll it off of something or whatever, the servo keeps getting more and more smashed. It's got a bunch of rock rash on it. And like my indoor course is like quickcrete, so like the screws are all packed with mortar. You can't even tell it's a Phillips head screw on this back one anymore. It's so crammed full of shit. So I need to put a body on this thing and quit messing around. I just haven't decided whether I'm going to comp this truck or whether I just want to slap a body on it. Let me know what you guys think, whether I should actually try to comp with this truck or just do a random body. Did have some hail damage on my car on Friday. Tornado about an hour and a half from me. I may have round 2 tomorrow. Yeah, the weather tomorrow isn't looking all that promising for the evening either. So they're calling for the same thing around here tomorrow. We'll see. Normally that stuff doesn't come right through here, but it's always a possibility. So, let's see. With the skids getting angled more and more, how do you keep the rear drive shaft angles in check? The rear drive shaft really, you could really get another couple of degrees out of this rear drive shaft, if I'm honest. A lot of it has to do with the rear links, especially like the rear axle. You can clock the rear axle up a little bit, kick the pinion angle up a little bit to help correct the drive shaft angles, but even at full droop, there's still a couple more degrees in this front joint. There's not an issue with that. It's going to be pretty much impossible to show you, but there is quite a bit more travel in that U-joint than the 10-degree angle on the skid. I think about 12 to 13, maybe 14 would probably be pushing it for like a wild bore like this. But the regular like U-joint style, I think you can get quite a bit more out of them than that. So it's not really something that's an issue. Wouldn't mind comping with that truck. No, I wouldn't mind comping with it either. I just need to know what I'm going to do with it because just of body selection. If I'm just going to use it like at Axial Fest and stuff like that, then there's really not a reason to go hard body and scale points and all that stuff. I could just slap a Lexan body on it and run it. And I think that's more what I'm leaning towards right now is just doing a Lexan and just use it as a play truck. I've got comp trucks. I don't need another comp truck, really. So I'll throw my trenchers on it for Axial Fest. Yep. Throw my trenchers on it for Axial Fest and play with it down there. Stock. I could get the axial body. Stock electronics, I wouldn't comp it. Well, this was just mock-up, basically for the motor size. I figured if I could get this big-ass, non-rebuildable brushed motor in there, that just about anything else would fit. So, if I were going to comp it, that stuff would all be gone. But I just need to decide what I want to do as far as body goes, I guess. I'm thinking about getting a Lexan body for my C2 and C3 for when it's not a points comp. Yeah, the only thing about doing that is it changes the way the truck drives drastically. And for me, I want the truck to act the same all the time. I don't want it to make a climb with a Lexan body that it won't do with a hard body, and then me get used to that and then not be able to perform in a comp, you know what I mean? So it's just, I prefer to keep if I want to have a truck to play with, it's just going to be a truck to play with. It's not going to be hard body or scaled out or whatever. So I get the new chassis installed and run it, then I'll swap a new T-case. I don't hate this transmission. It's pretty big, but it's not like super tall though. It's nice and quiet. It is a little heavy because of the extra gear set. I don't know. I don't hate this trans. I like the percentage of overdrive. If Ben would ever make my transfer cases for me, I would probably consider putting a Toizuki T-case in this just because of the overdrive percentage, keeping it pretty close to what it is now. I'm going to comp them thinking about a creeper in the pacesetter. Yeah, as far as like a creeper T transfer case, drop the OD down to 30%. Yeah. I do like changing stuff too. Suspension geometry is based on roll center. When you change the body, roll center changes. You'll never get it dialed if you keep changing the weight. Agreed. I want my truck to do the same thing all the time, exactly the way I want to do it. And that's just the way I like to keep my trucks. Thinking about going to Mamba X2 for C2 since my micro somehow went out of my C1. I would probably just buy another micro X2 just because of the size. I prefer the micro size of the micro. Or you could go BR Mini from Holmes and be able to run 4S because everything is more fun on 4S. I prefer 4S in everything. Yours is ready. My transfer case is ready? Hot diggity dog. Good. I've got a $100 Toizuki gift certificate to use up from Nationals. Got all my trucks damn close to the same. That's how my class 1 and my class 2 are on the exact same chassis even. So X2 you can. Huh, good. There you go. Run 4S. 4S on everything. I have a 3S battery right here because of this specific truck. And this truck is the only reason that I have this 3S still sitting around. BR Mini is my go-to. Yes, absolutely. I run BR Minis in everything. Class 1, Class 2, Class 3. Run BR Minis in everything. Seat time, seat time, seat time. Exactly. A couple weeks ago you were saying that the 2-in-1 motor ESC were not the best for comping. Why? They are big and they can be heavy. They can be very smooth, but they are also big and heavy. If you compare this Puller 400, which is a stubby little motor, I mean, for size reference, the overall length of this Puller 400 is less than a tire wrench, a little cross wrench. Where you get the 2-in-1 and they're 58 or 60 millimeters long. They're just big. They're just easy and smooth, but big and fat. They are big and fat. They are very big and fat. What motor do you use, KV? I run Holmes Puller 400 13-turn, 13XX brushed motors. All of my comp trucks have brush motor setups. Just a tiny little Puller 400. And it sits right down on the lower link. It touches the lower link when the suspension's compressed. Magnum Stubby 13 is what I like. Yeah, they're pretty similar. The Puller 400 and the Magnum Stubby are pretty similar, especially in 13-turn. I run the XX, which is the bigger gauge wire. You get a little more current out of them. Teeny tiny little motors. If you've never seen a 400 size motor, the first time you receive a 400 size motor, you're like, what the heck, did I order the wrong motor? But they're definitely worth it. What's your wheelbase on that one? This is my Class 1 truck. It is 11.75 or something. 11.8, 11.75, somewhere in there. Whatever the hardcore RC link set is. Whatever measurements I gave him. I think it's 11.75. Hang on. Never mind. I don't know where my tape measure is. It's not where it's supposed to be. No, it's because it's on my bench. Yeah, 11 3/4. If you don't put your tape measure back where it's supposed to be, you'll never know where it's at. Just so you know. Pretty bad about that. Yeah, this is my Class 1 truck. C1 Pro, F10 portals, stainless links, and all Holmes electronics. Tape measures for building houses. They are for building houses, and they're also for measuring wheelbase. I didn't feel like going to get my 12-inch calipers out. They're in the toolbox over there. I know exactly where those are at because they have a specific place. Well, my tape measure has a specific place too, but I'm less likely to put that away than I am the calipers because I'm more protective of the calipers. Because they are those 12-inch calipers cost a whole lot more than this Lufkin tape measure did. I can promise you that. I don't even want to think about tossing my 12-inch calipers around like I do that tape measure. Be a bad idea. Before I lose pieces. Put this back on there. Probably ought to figure out a different way to attach the body than these big wing nut thumb screws on the hood. Kind of a little trashy on a carbon body, but I thought I was going to a comp like that following week, so I needed to get it done, but I never got it done. Oh, here's another shot of the purple rotors behind a set of wheels. Yeah. So yeah, I'll get these on the website tomorrow. But now just to decide on what. I like them, I use them. Gotta update my scan tool software here next month, I think. Not looking forward to that one. Ooh. Yeah, that's not any fun at all. I hate that crap costs extra money, like every time you update it. It just seems like when you spend that much money on the tool that you should at least get, a couple of years worth of updates. I mean, I understand not giving you 25 years of updates because that, that stuff does need to be paid for somehow, but at least give you 5 years, something like that, of updates. Might have to get those for my C1. The only thing about these rotors is they don't weigh very much, so if you are needing weight, these aren't going to get you where you need to be. But if you need scale points or you want looks, these will absolutely do what you want to do. So if you need weight, going with something, like this is going to be a much heavier option compared to these little, super ultra lightweight. I was going to put the revolver and suppressor in the SCX Pro when the chassis comes. Haven't used any good brushed motors. Should give the Polar Pro and BR Mini a shot. Yeah, the thing about doing a revolver in the Pro is where the motor wires come out of the housing. You may have to do some grinding on the plastic motor mount. I haven't tried to mount my revolver in here, but I saw on the Pro that people on the Pro group on Facebook, they were having issues. How much width do these add? Probably 2 millimeters or less. They're very thin. In the mounting area, they're very thin. So you're not gonna add a bunch of offset with these little rotors. They look thick, but they are pocketed out at the backside like they're the exact same size as like a 250 hub in the back. So they capture a 250 hub. Exactly, for the 3 to 5K the scanner cost. My last one, I did get 2 years free. I think, yeah, maybe talking to your, begging your Snap-on guy or whomever your scan tools through, maybe to get you to piggyback off of somebody else's something or other. I don't really know. It's been a long time since I've had to deal with that stuff. Trimming my motor mount for my black jacket motor wires. See, it just depends on where the motor wires come out of the housing at, whether they will be kind to the motor mount or not. On the plus side of things, the factory motor mount is just plastic, so trimming it isn't a big deal at all. They do have an aftermarket, or they do have an aluminum motor mount for these from Axial that didn't look like it had the big lip on the backside like the plastic one does. So that may be an option, but I'm hesitant to recommend that because I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to try to run the Fusion Pro and the pacesetter when it gets here. If it doesn't fit, I'll definitely look into home stuff. Wyatt has an Oracle, and he's running a Fusion motor, just the normal censored brushless system, not the 2-in-1. And it touches the front upper link, and it touches the transmission. The pacesetter has a little longer area between the motor mount and the transmission, so you probably wouldn't hit the transmission, but you may still hit the upper link mount. That motor, the motor Wyatt is running is a 58 millimeter long, 36 millimeter diameter. So if your motor is anywhere near those measurements, it'll be snug, but it should be able to go in there. Again, I haven't tried. I don't run the Fusion systems, so I haven't tried test fitting that stuff. I don't even have one around here. The closest thing to that I have around here would be a Holmes, probably a 2200 kV, but it's still a stubby censored brushed motor, so it's still not even going to be comparable to the Fusion. But like it tight, yeah. It'll be snug. I mean, even this big ass brushed motor, there's quite a bit of room around this big brushed motor. probably 8 to 10 millimeters behind the motor before it would get to the trans. The other thing that's going to affect you on the transmission side is your pinion size. If you run a small pinion, it'll move the motor towards the transmission a little too far. It could push it too far. Yes, you should try the BR Mini N puller. You won't be disappointed. I can attest to the BR Mini N puller motors. I really, really, really like the Puller 400. I've been running the exact Puller 400s 13 turn XX wind for 3 years now. I buy new motors every year just because I do, but I always get the exact same motor every time, and I really, really like that motor, especially on 4S. Nothing like being able to, just creep along, but then literally damn near smoke a tire when you're spinning tire. It'll damn near smoke them. It's pretty good at breaking them in real quick. But here's another look at this thing here. Like I said, I need to swap out my receiver so I can get this winch going so I can play with it a little bit. I'm not a fan of external spool winches, and that's what this is. So I'm gonna try to wean myself into it. Got 4 years on a Puller 400. I just like buying new ones. I always end up selling the truck at the end of the season or parting them out, and then I just buy new ones. What 4S battery do you recommend? I run these little G-Force 460 milliamp from valuehobby.com. I think these are like $12. They normally come with like a Dean's connector on them, so I swapped them out. But what ESC do you run when going brushed? BR Mini, Holmes BR Mini. Every week I watch this stream, I seem to buy something new. I guess this week will be an order from Holmes. There you go. Spread the love of your money to multiple vendor sources. Oh man, need XT30s. Then I gotta swap everything again. I just swapped to XT60s this late last year. I had Deans on everything until late last year. I actually had a Deans finally fail on me. Where was I? I think I was in Oklahoma. And I finally had a Dean's battery plug not make a bad connection. Like if you wiggled it, it would work, but that's when I swapped everything to XT60s. How's it going? Josh Tackett here. How's it going, buddy? Another day, man. Another 12-hour day in the shop. I'm going to see if I can measure this for Ben. Measure the offset of this for Ben without making too much noise here. I spotted my calipers on the other side of my bench. That's why I'm measuring this for you. 1.7 millimeters. Yeah. 1.7 millimeters thick on the face of these. So you're not adding a whole bunch of offset. Put those away before I lose them. Yeah. I've been pretty happy with the 10-degree angle on this skid. When building the pace setter, the 2 aluminum rods that connect the motor mount and trans are not used, correct? That is correct. Using either of the brazen chassis for the SCX10 Pro, either the pace setter or the Oracle, get rid of those 2 aluminum spacers, but you do want to put bolts in the transmission, just 2 regular M3 bolts and nuts into the top of the transmission where those spacers came out of, so that it doesn't split the transmission. Fine, you don't speak metric. It is 0.067 thick. Setting the motor in a 815 cat compactor. Ooh! Don't drop it. Don't drop it. That sounds expensive. Anyway, yes. Back to the transmission question. Yes, get rid of the 2 rods and then put a screw here and here. And then throw those spacers in your spare parts bin for something else. The Oracle chassis, the flat skid Oracle version, the motor mount is moved rearward and down from the factory location, so that's why you have to get rid of them on that. And then the pace setter with the 10-degree angle, you have to get rid of them because of that reason. So 20mm screws are the perfect length for the top of the trans. Probably. That would be why I had to go find different screws last week, because my little bin here only goes to 16s. And of course the only ones I had are countersink screws. Squints, what's going on? Without your wheels like here's Vanquish Methods, it's 9 1/4 outside to outside of tire. What axles? Gotcha, thanks for the info. Super excited to get the new chassis. Heck yeah. You did order a pace setter. I was telling everybody earlier on the stream, I got everybody's carbon pace setters cut and packed today and labeled, but I missed the UPS guy by like 10 minutes. So they'll go out first thing in the morning. They're all on the counter over here, and I've already got more on the site, so hopefully those will all sell tonight as well. It'd be nice. F10s on my C1. I don't remember. I think we discussed how wide my class 1 is before. I'm going to use my tape measure again, Ben. Is that alright? Yeah, I'm about 9 1/4. About 9 1/4 wide with these wheels on F10s with a 225 hub. And that's also with them towed out a little bit. I'm measuring the very front, and they're towed out. So if they were straight up, probably 9 inches, but they are towed out. Can't wait to get it. Have the Pro all torn down, waiting for it to arrive. Well, like I said, it'll go out first thing tomorrow morning. Hopefully, depending on where you live. I mean, everybody should have them. Everybody should have them by the end of the week, I would say. Washington, yeah, yours is going to be the end of the week, I'm sure. I'm going to assume that's the 9 in response to the 9 inches. If it's not, sorry, that's just where my brain went. Another thing I have been working on over the last couple days is wheels. I've had, obviously everybody's asking when wheels are coming back. I have been machining wheels, so they are in progress. Working on them. And I'm not going to touch that, it's going to fall down. I've got my other aluminum axle tubes for the Pro. I'm testing those too. Yes, wheel time. Yep, it is wheel time. It's been beyond time to get wheels done, so that's what I'm working on. So I've got barrels and lock rings. Barrels and lock rings are all done for this batch, and I'm working on the faces. Everything's done lathe side. So now I'm running the wheel faces through the mill and milling the pattern in the wheel faces. So lathe stuff is all done. Running a 225 with methods, and now I want to build another brazen truck, just an excuse to build one for a Lexan body. Yeah, build and build and build and build and build. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to talk you in to building more trucks. I think you should build a new truck every month. Everybody should. Everyone in here right now, all 20 plus of you, should all build new trucks every month. Keep me in business, please. Gonna need some of those for an ATL Pro. Do you guys want new wheel face patterns, or do you want mammoths and bombs like usual? Because now's the time to speak up. Because I've only got like 10 sets done of mammoths and bombs, but I still have another 20 sets of wheel faces that I could do a new wheel face pattern, or sell them blank. How busy is the lathe? The lathe is going to be very busy for the next 3 weeks or so. I've got a customer who does Yamaha Banshee parts, and so these pieces, the Yamaha Banshees will break the shear the foot peg bolts off. So these are replacement frame bungs that go in, they get welded into the frame for your foot peg bolts. So I've got to make a bunch of these for him. And then there is a local off-road guy that I need to do some misalignment spacers for heim joints for. These are chromoly spacers for his heim joints. I need to do a bunch of those. And then I've got a bunch of raw material here to do spacers and pins for another local company that does bobcat skid steer grapples and stuff like that. So I've got a lot of things on the lathe list right now. Whatever you want to cut. Yeah. Well, that's the problem. I want to do different patterns, but that also takes time. Just need shocks and links, the ones you have now. Keep the 2 patterns I have now. Okay, so we got 1 in each set there. Take a blank set. What other patterns would you be thinking? Blank would be cool. With the pacesetter, do you believe there's good clearance for 80mm shocks? F10s with AMS. Should be. The only thing you'll need to pay attention to, I saw a guy with an Oracle who has beef tubes shock cups on the bottom, and he had the drive shaft was rubbing on the spur gear somehow. Not real sure how he managed that, but you may have that kind of clearance issue more than anything, drive shaft against the spur gear. Kind of like the way the blanks look. It's hard to show the blank ones on camera because they are so freaking shiny. Like, these are all finger fucked from me touching them, but you can tell they're pretty shiny. Can do bullets instead of bombs. That's not a bad idea. It wouldn't take a whole lot of design change to change the bombs to bullets. It'd be probably a pretty easy thing to do. I guess I could look into that real quick. Maybe this week sometime. Bungs, yeah. Do some the trucker chick, the fat trucker chick. Yeah, that the wheels are pretty small to get a trucker chick in there, but yeah. Carbon faces. The problem is with if they were carbon, you've got you're milling on both sides of it, so. I don't run any carbon fiber in my mill at all whatsoever. I just don't. It's not my thing. I don't want carbon dust in my mill, and I don't like my router for doing pockets like that. So that's probably not going to happen. However, if Squints wanted to make some carbon faces for the wheels, he could do so. I have 10.2 SSD axles, Vanquish 3 gear, and a cliffhanger. Hello, 4-wheel steer, AR-44s. That's a whole list of things. Wanting to do a leaf build. If you have AR-44s, you can do a leaf build pretty easy. Engrave the bullet casing to look like a revolver. Yeah, it's not a bad idea either. Like I said, it wouldn't take a whole lot to go from a bomb to a bullet. And the engraving, it's the same operation really as I would use the same tool as the little tiny little chamfers around all of these, the same 1/16 chamfer mill. I'd use that to engrave. So can't see the sexy Hibby rotors if they're solid is the only thing. That's another downfall of a solid wheels. You can't see your fancy pretty purple or black rotors behind them. Pockets on an X-Carve are fun. Yeah, that's, I don't do it. I don't do it. And I don't run carbon in my mill. So I don't run carbon in the lathe. I don't run carbon in the mill. I don't particularly actually like cutting carbon fiber, but for whatever reason, everybody has decided that they don't want G10 chassis anymore. They only want carbon fiber. So I don't even really stock sheets of G10 anymore. I have one sheet of G10 on hand where I used to stock like 10 at a time. So everybody over the last 2 years decided that carbon is what they want instead of G10. Also have two G-Speed V3s I'm not wanting to use. Well, get rid of them. If you don't want to use them, get rid of them. I already traded you one. For those of you that don't know, Braden wanted to get rid of a G-Speed chassis. He posted on the Facebook group asking if anybody would be interested in trading a Brazen chassis for a G-Speed, and I took him up on it. So sent him a brand new chassis and got him hooked up with the first one. So not doing it again, damn it. Is what it is. Yeah. Flag engraved on the blank face. That's not a bad idea either. I like the way the blank faces look, and they come out of the lathe just like this. So realistically, other than putting the hub holes in, which again I could just have the lathe do that. Just have the lathe do the hub holes. What did I do with the chassis? I didn't do anything with the chassis, so that was the thing. I told him to pay it forward and pass it on to somebody who was going to use it. So that's what happened to it. Do you feel the switch from G10 to carbon was for looks or weight? I think it was because people are bougie and want carbon fiber more than anything. I got two V3s I can't give away. Yeah, they've got the V4 out now, so you're not ever going to be able to get rid of a V3 anymore. They're all going to be for sale as soon as they get parts off them. Bought 3 Brazen chassis since then. Yeah, you have. I know. I'm just giving you shit. If you engrave the flag, you better engrave Brazen into it. Yeah, I would use the Brazen flag logo. Yeah, I would do that. It would have the stars and the Brazen name and whatever in it. When you have more carbon fiber in stock, I ordered G10 was sold out of carbon fiber. The carbon's back on the website right now. So Friday night when I put the chassis up for sale, I put a specific amount of chassis in stock, and then today when I got here and manufactured everything that sold over the weekend, from the pace setters to high-lows and C1 Pros and Pro V2s. I manufactured everything that sold over the weekend, and then I figured out how much carbon I still had left over. And updated inventory at like 3 o'clock today, I think. I put more on the site. So if you would like to switch from a G10 pacesetter to a carbon one, you can still do so. The G10 pacesetters, there were a few of those ordered. I was going to manufacture those first thing tomorrow morning, so it's not been made yet. So if that's what you're wanting, message the Brazen Facebook page, and I will. We can figure that out. Not a big deal. Prefer the term I'm extra. I have to get my ATLs in carbon now, is what you're saying, instead of G10. No, I personally prefer G10 on my trucks instead of carbon. I like the flex of G10 and I like the weight of G10, so yeah. Picked up a high-low in CF today. Yes, you did, and it is boxed up on the counter, ready to go with the UPS man in the morning. Can I switch to carbon? Yeah, like I said, just message the Brazen Facebook page, and I'll reply to that as soon as we're off of here. So give me like an hour and a half or so, and I'll message you back on that, and we'll figure that out. I've got carbon chassis here ready to go. So if you want to swap it out, we can do that. Definitely like the G10 now that I'm used to it on my C2. The G10 does take some getting used to. So, especially, you're running a Pro V2, there's quite a bit of flex in there. So bracing and setup makes a big difference. And then if you switch it to carbon and use the exact same bracing in the exact same place, the truck is way more rigid. Yeah, same thing, Ben. It's like titanium and bling without a purpose. It's harder to cut, it's harder to clean, it's nastier on your lungs. It's hard on tooling. I'd much prefer G10. I mean, not that getting any dust in your lungs is good for your lungs, but carbon dust is a little nastier. Nothing at all wrong with G10. Couldn't agree more. But like I said, just over the last probably year and a half to 2 years, G10 sales are nil compared to carbon. It's probably 25 G10 or 25 carbon chassis to one G10 chassis now, where previously I only did real small batches of carbon, and they all, it was mostly all G10. Don't want to knock that radio down. It snaps, and that's not good for business. Well, the carbon fiber I use, you'd be pretty hard pressed to break it, and if you did, I'll warranty it out. So it comes down to the quality of carbon, but ETA on sliders and skid for the high-low. Sliders are Wesley's thing, and Wesley moved. Wesley just moved this past weekend, so he will be reordering and restocking a bunch of stuff over the next week and a half. So that'll be another week and a half, 2 weeks. As far as skids go, I am currently manufacturing skids. I am 2 steps out of 4 through them. I've machined the bottom sides of what is the bottom side of the skid with all the countersinks and all that stuff. All the bottoms are done. All the tops are done. Now I've got to go through and do all the side holes. But in order to do those side holes, I have to take the fixturing that's in the mill out of the mill and set up my other vices. And right now, the wheel face fixturing is in the mill, so I want to finish my wheel faces before I tear all that stuff out of the mill, because it does take time to set it up. Do you have the C1 Pro and ATL Pro both in G10? Yes, all of our chassis are available in G10 or carbon. I'd like to try a C1 Pro in carbon. I think there's one in stock on the site right now. But to finish answering your question, as far as when skids are going to be done, I would assume also, again, probably a week and a half or so. But there are a lot of them. I'm going to be tapping holes forever. C1 Pro. Yeah, there's one carbon C1 Pro on in stock on the website right now. Got it. I understand. Thanks. Keep my eyes open. Perfect. Thank you. We have had a couple of people recently getting a little bit impatient with, especially the sliders. And the sliders, our sliders are very nice, so I can see why people want them. But you got to remember that the skid bolting, skid mounting area is SCX based. So realistically, any SCX based sliders will bolt onto the chassis. So yes, we have figured out exactly how and where to mount the Mojave bodies. But other than that, those sliders are, they're basically SCX based in the belly area. So if you are absolutely impatient and cannot wait for our sliders, just use any SCX based slider, except the Pro. These sliders will not fit. Like my carbon C1. Nice. Yeah, like I said, mounting the Mojave body, the RC 4-wheel drive, or the Tamiya bodies with those sliders, they're like dead nuts on. They're perfect. But if you're not using those bodies, like if you're using a F150 or an F350 or a 4Runner or something along those lines, those holes don't line up. So you would be either drilling new holes in the body or making some sort of a bolt-on plate. But they are coming, man. They are. I promise. I promise. Can't rush greatness. I wish I could, though. So, like, the sliders are one of the very few things that are not made in-house. So we kind of got to order. We don't have to order big batches of them, but they are. The more you order, the more cost-effective they get. And nobody likes paying extra. So, like, if we order 5 sets, the price is just doesn't make enough sense to order 5 sets. So we got to order quite a bit more than that. And then, like I said, with Wesley moving, he didn't want to have a bunch of inventory, a bunch of extra stuff to move, a bunch of stuff to get lost, or whatever. So, but he did get moved over the weekend. I talked to him a little bit earlier today. He said he's got most of his stuff. He's just got to get his internet set up and all the normal move into your house thing. Get your kitchen crap set up, get your bathroom crap set up. So that's why he's not on here tonight. He doesn't have internet yet at the new place, and is still working on setting up his stuff. But they're coming, I promise. I have noticed with the rear axle on this truck that the axle tubes are starting to move in the housing, which is not super cool. They're starting to get some, weeble wobble in the plastic in the diff housing. So I'm thinking that I'm probably going to have to replace this rear housing definitely before the end of the year, which I'm not super enthused about. I saw the video you put up testing the pacesetter. It looked like you had a brace across the rear shock towers. Do you recommend extra bracing? You don't need any extra bracing. The only thing that's in there is a rear body mount. And the only reason that body mount is in there is because it was sitting in my parts bin, and I wanted to make sure that the hole spacing in the towers was sufficient enough to be able to mount that, in case somebody wanted to or needed to have the body mounting up there. I've got the little ones, the singles in the front, and then I've just got that one there in the back. You don't need it, but... And as far as extra bracing, no, you don't need any extra bracing, especially if you have a carbon chassis. This thing is very, very rigid. I always miss the hot items because I'm tied up with work and can't check on things on the weekend. Yeah, it does kind of suck sometimes like that. Hoping to be able to go to Crawlapalooza this year. They changed the date for Crawlapalooza, or they're going to be changing the date for Crawlapalooza. It's going to be later in October, I've been told. So don't plan on it being the first weekend like it has been forever. Mine bowed like a C toward the front of the truck. Not super drastic, but definitely noticeable. Yeah, mine kind of do as well. Like if you put a straight edge across it, it definitely wouldn't be straight. But that's not what I care about. Like I said, it's the tubes are loose in the housing. All it is two tiny little set screws that hold it into the plastic. And those tiny little set screws, you can't tighten the plastic down onto the tube. You just hold the tube. Crawlapalooza date change in May actually keep me from being there. No! You gotta go. You can't miss it. Does the stock Pro chassis pinch in the front and rear like other LCGs? No, it does not, actually. That is the one unfortunate thing about the entire setup, in my opinion, is that the motor mount is 74 millimeters wide, and so is the CMS, and so is the skid plate. So that kind of is annoying. Same ring and pinion as 10.2. Yes, it is the same ring and pinion as the regular AR-44s. So you can do your overdrive, underdrive, reverse cut, whatever you want to do. They are the same gear sets. The reason I wish that motor mount was narrower is because I think that motor mount is a nice motor mount, but like our dual servo mount is 70 millimeters. So you would have to put 2 millimeter spacers on either side of the dual servo mount, which sucks because then the panhard bar length changes, the rigidity of the chassis changes because you're not pinching the chassis down. It's just an extra thing. Noticed mine was a bit wobbly yesterday after I got done crawling. Yeah. I've noticed it over the last week that it just got looser and looser, which again, like I said, it's not the end of the world, but like damn, this thing doesn't have that much time on it yet. I was thinking ditch the Pro rear housing. You could ditch the whole rear axle, or you could swap it to like an SSD type setup. You could run a regular AR-44 rear, whatever you want to do. The link geometry is the same as a 44. No, they're the link. Yeah, it is same link geometry as an AR-44. So it's fine. Upper shock width changes tire clearance to the chassis. Yeah, so that is another bummer. And you're not going to be able to see this on camera, but the front of my panhard mount, the paint's all rubbed off of it because the tires rub where the bumper mount is. My 475s do. With a 450 hub, actually, but it's a zero face, flat face wheel. And yeah, so it changes the clearance at the front of the chassis for the bumper. It changes the clearance at the shock, which this chassis doesn't really have that big of an issue because the shock is really tucked in there. but it does affect the bumper width. Put some F10s in it. You could. It'd be easy. Just swap them in. Wyatt has AR-45 portals under his Oracle chassis, Class 1. He swapped those out to AR-45 portals for Class 1, which I thought about doing as well because I am a connoisseur of tiny tires. I much prefer small tire trucks to big tire trucks. If they wanted it parallel, they should have made the skid 70 millimeters. Couldn't agree with you more, because there is tons of room on either side of the skid, or of the transmission to the skid. Like, the one side, there's like 15 millimeters on one side and I don't know, call it 12 millimeters on the other side that they could have narrowed it up. Moved the whole, narrowed the whole skid. And they should have made the whole thing 70 millimeters or 68 or 67, but they went, no, fuck it, I'll just measure it. 74, that's what I thought it was. It's possible to go 60. I know, I've got 60 millimeter width skids. Well, they're 62 millimeter wide skids. They're 62 wide by 28 length. They're tiny little guys. Teeny tiny. I think I'm going to run F10s in all my comp trucks, portal and straight both. Yeah, I would run straights in Class 2 and Class 3, portals in Class 1. I like the extra axle height in Class 1 for the small tires. That's why I run portals in Class 1. It lets you look further down the course instead of looking at the tiny little rocks that are right in front of you. Lets you watch the big rocks instead of the little ones. And you can get a little faster from point A to point B if you're looking further ahead. That's one thing I do pretty well, is get from gate to gate pretty quickly. But then when I get to the gate, I forget to slow down, and then I just smash the gate. Let her eat. But still trying to decide what I like on C2. I just prefer to not have the extra height on Class 2. Keep the chassis low, but let the tires do the work. But Ben, if you're serious about having a transfer case ready for me, I'm ready for it. I'll build one of these with a Toizuki case in it instead of the factory trans. I think that's going to be a good one. F10s are clean and smooth. They are, and we have leaf spring mounts for them. So if you want to put leaf springs on an F10, where the heck are those? Oh, I don't see my leaf spring mounts on the table. I thought they were on my bench here, but I don't believe they are now. For Crawler Canyon, both height is nice. Crawler Canyon has so much vertical change on course that I prefer straight axles on everything at Canyon, I think. I don't know. Where are those leaf spring mounts? Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know where they went. I don't see them on the workbench behind the camera. And I don't see them on the workbench that I'm sitting at. They must be gone. They're not gone, they're somewhere, but I'm not entirely sure where they are. That sucks. I was going to show them to you guys. Oh well. I've got a set of leaf over leaf spring mounts on a set of F10 straights, and I've got a set of leaf under mounted on a set of F10 portals. And I'm trying to figure out which ones I want to put underneath my Metal Masher Class 1 style truck when I get it back from him. He's doing the cage and bumpers and stuff for me. Right now it's got a set of AR-44s under it for mock-up, but I think I'm going to swap those out to F10s. But I don't know whether... I think I'm probably going to go F10 straight axle on it just because it's not going to get driven like a Class 1 truck, I don't believe. I say that now, but Crawlapalooza night crawls get a little spicy sometimes, so it might happen. Might swap my C2 to AR-44s, see what I like. F10 portals just sitting around. Yeah, straight axle unless it's a MOG. It is not a MOG, it is a regular Metal Masher Yoda. I think that truck will be on straight axles, so I'll probably go axle over F10 straight axle. And then I need to talk Scale Builders Guild into painting and weathering that body for me. I would just send the whole truck up there and let him have it for as long as it takes him to get it done. Not in a rush for it at all. Basically, I just want to probably take it to Axial Fest this year unpainted, and then send it to him. And as long as I have it back for Axial Fest next year, I don't really think it matters how long it takes. Let him have it all summer and fall. Hell, he can have it all winter if he wants it too, but he doesn't paint things in the winter because it's cold in Canada. So, but I got to try to talk him into it first. I think it's at one point he said he'd be interested in it, but that was like 2 years ago, so it may take some convincing to get him back on the boat with me. No, don't send Matt side jobs. I gotta convince him. I think because it's a Metal Masher and it's a custom thing, he'll probably do it for me. He would kill it. I think if I were gonna send that to anybody for painting and weathering, I think that would be the only person that I would be interested in having paint and weather that truck. So I think I need to figure out how to get him convinced to do that. Maybe I'll message him when I get off here. Well, I'll wait till tomorrow. I'll message him tomorrow and see if I can con him into doing it. But I think it would be cool to make kind of ultimate adventure for comp style trucks. I mean, that's basically what Axial Fest Badlands is, with all the extra trails and mud and hills and rocks and all that crap. And I use my comp trucks for that too, so just guilt him, he'll be sorry and do it for you. Yeah, I'll bait him into being mean to me, and then I'll blackmail him with that. Be like, you're a Canadian, you're mean to me, so now you have to do this for me. I gotta figure out how to make him be mean first. I don't have any idea what I want it to look like. I don't have any idea. I kind of want it to be like traditional Yoda, but at the same time, like, that's kind of boring and lame. So I don't know. I don't really want to do like the Ivan Stewart color stripes. That's not really my thing. There was a brown Yoda, like a pre-runner style Yoda that somebody posted up on Facebook the other day. 1-to-1 truck that looked really good. Don't put rust on the plastic flares. There are no plastic flares on it. It's all aluminum. You can't put rust anywhere on it. It's all aluminum. I know the 1-to-1s aren't aluminum, but that's the thing. He won't be able to make rust holes in it because I'll make fun of him that he put rust holes in an aluminum body. Do a Marlin tribute. I don't like red and yellow though. That's a good idea, and like, it would go over pretty well. And if I could talk Matt into doing it, I'm sure he would do that paint scheme also. But I am not a fan of red and yellow together, especially.
Just tell him what you don't want and let him decide. That's kind of where I'm at. It would be like a here. Rear flares are plastic in the first gen beds. Yeah, okay. Well, if anybody would know, it'd be him. So, would you run XR straight axles on C3 or F10 portals for C3 like yours used to be C3? That was one of the things on my class 3 that I was debating on changing, was going from the F10 portals to the F10 straights. I didn't drive the truck enough to make that decision, and I sold it. So I will let the new owner of it, decide whether he wants it to be straight axle or not. That is now up to the new owner in Hawaii. Look up the TRD Pro colors and give it a modern style paint scheme. Blue and white two-tone like Marlin's son's truck. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. I highly doubt that I'll be able to quickly find that brown truck. Oh, well, I'm wrong because I found it pretty quick. Okay. Anyway, I can't make it any bigger than that, but kind of like that. Like tan and brown. Tan and brown, like the traditional Toyota stripes, but they're like two different colors of brown on a tan desert sand type color. Kind of like that paint scheme. So yeah, like I said, I would have to convince him to do it before we can even decide on a paint scheme. I'd have to convince him to do it. So, but like I said, if there's anybody I would let do it, it'd be him. If I go straight axles, I have a set of AR44s. I have just sitting on my high-low, but I know Lucas used to have AR44s. Yeah. Again, with big tires like the Class 3 trucks, I don't think you need portals. My Class 3 truck that I built on F10 portals, I had two steering F10 portals sitting on the bench, so it wasn't like I went out shopping for axles just to do that. And I did not have two AR40 or F10 straight axles that were steering. Color Concepts will cut you the stripes any color you want. I know. I still have one set of the custom stripes that she did for me that I have on my other Metal Masher. They're the brazen colors, the purple and blue reflective stripes. I still have a couple sets of those, but I also have my own printer now, so I could print my own stripes, any colors I want. Speaking of printer, hang on. Those of you who ordered pacesetter chassis will be getting these sticker header cards with your orders. Every single one of these is a sticker. These are matte finish now. You're not going to be able to tell on camera, but this is gloss finish. These are matte finish. Again, you can't tell on camera, but they are different. And the pace setters will come with matte finish, where other chassis do not. So, don't throw away your header cards. They are sticker sheets. Saw the new chassis just in time for the news. Looks good. Thank you, Josh. Thank you. Again, 10 degree angled skid, 100% bolt on for factory, and lowered motor mounting locations compared to factory. So made a couple of changes to it. Small shock hoops, big angle on the skid. and still bolt on. Got to buy another chassis kit just to get stickers. Yes, you do. Now, if anybody needs or wants stickers, I can throw them in an envelope. It's not that big a deal, and I'm printing them in house, so they don't cost me that much. So I give away free stickers with every order anyway. Little girl got the ones from the C1 Pro. Nice. My son steals them all the time too. I have to keep them up on a shelf in a bin now, because that little turkey runs around here. He's 6. He runs around here and grabs everything. He split his forehead open last week here. He went to grab my stack of Class 1 Hyraxes and bent down to put him in a cardboard box on the floor and bashed his head on my tubing notcher that's bolted to the end of my workbench. Right dead square, right between his eyes. Split his forehead open. So, is what it is. He's wild. I gotta watch him. Thinking about going 2.2 Swampers and 5.4 for Canyon? I wouldn't. They don't make those tires in a Predator compound, so I would not do that for indoor at Canyon. Maybe outdoor Canyon, they'd probably work pretty well because of all the dirt, but indoor, that would not be my choice. Not for free. Yeah, absolutely for free. That's it. That was why I bought a freaking $6,000 printer, so that I can print and give away stickers. I got tired of paying other companies to fuck up my stickers for me, so I decided if anybody was going to do it, it was going to be me. So, part of the reason why the pacesetter are getting matte finished sticker sheets is because the company I ordered my vinyl from sent me the wrong roll of vinyl. But I wanted to do matte finish anyway, so I'm okay with it. They didn't. I called them today, and they're like, "Well, we can send a call tag and get you the right stuff." I'm like, "Wow, just charge me for the right stuff, please." So I still have gloss vinyl over there, but I got a roll of matte finish vinyl, so I decided to go ahead and throw it in the printer first thing this morning and print some header cards. So yeah, those of you with pace setters are getting matte finish sticker sheets. So they're nice. It's a nice vinyl too. Expensive, but nice vinyl. Is he okay for the outdoor? Oh yeah, my son's fine. He's 6. He bounced. He's got a nice green bruise. Luckily it's spring break, so the little cut on his forehead healed in like 2 days. They're little kids are like flubber; they just heal right up. But the bruise is still there. He's still got a couple more days of green forehead probably. But yeah, I should probably unbolt that tubing notcher off the end of my workbench anyway, because I don't particularly like where it's at. Normally it's covered up. I keep a cardboard box over top of it most of the time because it's got sharp stuff, and I have ripped my pants on it walking past it. But it did not have a cardboard box on it the other day, and then, like I said, he just happened to bam right into it. I know they would suck on the indoor course. It'd be cheap. Yeah. Like I said, for outdoor, the TSLs will be fine. That's all we used to run around here when the NWI TTC series was a thing. It was all outdoor TTC type, hills, logs, dirt, mud, whatever. The TSL was pretty much the tire that everybody ran because it was about the only tire that could handle all that crap around here other than like a bogger, but the boggers sucked on rocks. So, yeah. it'll be fine for outside. Anybody got any questions about the pace setter before I set it aside? I can grab my class 2 down. We can talk about that for a little bit if you guys want. But any questions about this, holler. Pretty simple setup, but kind of cool at the same time. I like that you can build a competitive comp truck from a box now. Get the body off the class 2. Come on. My rules wrap on the class 2 also. Full carbon body. There's really nothing to the class 2 truck. It's a C1 Pro chassis with some craft foam inner fenders. Holmes Puller 400 like always. And a set of deluxe knuckles. Rear Curry 44. Class 2 has the same wrap. I know, you stole my creativity, remember? Whatever that guy said. whatever he claimed of you, you stole my creativity or copied my something, I don't know, whatever he said. Yeah. But it cracked me up. I literally sold you, designed and sold a wrap, and then a guy jumped all over him stating that he'd stolen my creativity or some crap like that. But anyway, Puller 400 13 turn, and then BR Mini like always. The only difference with this truck and the rest of my the rest of the electronics packages, this truck has a Holmes 650 servo in it instead of the 500s that are in everything else. Or 800s. What's in my class 1? 500, yeah. That's what I thought. I've got SHV 500 V3s and everything except the class 2. It's got a 650. But this has a 70 millimeter wide, 70 millimeter width skid on this one instead of a 78 like the regular Pro skid is. I love the 800s. Yeah, the SHV 800. What truck has the 800 in it? My base camp. Base camp has the 800 in it. The 500 V3s on 4S are pretty spicy anyway, so that's what I run in the class 1 truck. And the class 3 that I just sold had a 500 in it also. I've got a 500 LP. What is the 500 LP in? Maybe my 1.9 Wraith has a 500 LP on the. I think that's the one that's. Pretty sure it's my 1.9 Wraith has the 500 LP. And then my SCX10 has the SHV 2000, which I need to get a new BEC for the SCX10 so I can direct power the servo. I'm not super impressed with the SCX10 servo, if I'm honest. But it's also not fully powered the way I think it should be. He's got it spec'd at 8.4 volts. Well, the factory ESC and receiver is not putting 8.4 volts to it, so I think it needs a BEC to throw some more voltage at that servo and make it do what I want it to do. I run a V3 500 on 4S. It's plenty strong and stupid fast. Absolutely. If my radio was in front of me, it's in its case over there. If my radio was in front of me, I'd plug in my Class 1 truck, because that 500 V3 on 4S is pretty fast. I think after this last comp for Canyon Series, my C3 will be getting straight axles. Is it the last comp of the series already? For indoor? If it is, I didn't get to, I didn't make it to a single event. Damn it. Oh. Really? It's already... Is it the last comp of the series already? When? I need to get a BEC for my SCX10 so I can run my 6S battery. That's not a bad idea either. Maybe I should do both. Maybe I should buy a 6S battery and a BEC so that I can do that. I don't know. We'll see. In a couple of weeks. Okay. Whew. Alright, I will try to make it. I will try to make it over to the last comp of the series. I will bring this and this, and I will come play for the last comp of the series. I need to bring over, I need to bring some stuff for them anyway. I could ship them some stuff, but I think I will bring them some things instead of just shipping them. Mamba Monster 8S and a black jacket. Can the black jacket handle that though? That should, yeah. Should come Sunday if possible, so that's probably not going to happen. Probably not going to happen. If I can make it over there, it would absolutely be on a Friday night. The issue with going Friday night is that I have to leave here by like 4 o'clock. Yeah, I have to leave here by like 4 o'clock, and then I usually don't end up leaving there until like 11 o'clock their time, which is 12 o'clock my time, which means I don't get home till 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning from there, which makes for a rather long night. How's Brazen Fest coming along? I'll bring a hula hoop. That's Wesley's thing, man. I don't know. That'll be Wesley's thing. I hope he does do something with it, because I'd like to come down for that too. Not to see you in a hula, in a skirt doing the hula, but you know, go down to Texas and hang out with him. Go on Sunday is why I said that. Yeah, I figured that's why you said that, but Sunday is just, I have too much to do around the house. I spend enough hours at my shop during the week that the weekends are my home time. That's my get shit done around the house days. So I don't go on Fridays. Friday comps to get home real late. Yeah, it's then the time changes the wrong way for me on the way home. So yeah, 11 o'clock there is 12 o'clock my time, and it's a 2 hour and 15 minute to 2 hour and 45 minute drive depending on traffic. Which there's usually not that much traffic, but everybody fleeing Chicago on Friday night to get out of the city sometimes does lead to traffic in that area. So, but I do need to get over there because, like I said, I haven't made it to a single Winter Series event over there yet, and I've got my trucks ready, so really not an excuse other than time to get over there. So I'll have to get a hold of Lucas or just get on Facebook and check the dates and see when that is, because it's not really. It's one of the things I need to do. So, making myself a note on my phone real quick. Okay. Made myself a note to check on that stuff. Hour and a half, hour 45 drive for you. Yeah. So yeah. You know the pain, except you don't have a time change. So. Oh, man. What else you guys want to talk about? Anything else tonight? Now that we're completely off topic. We can go even further off topic if you want. We can talk about Ben hula hooping all night if you want. For those of you who aren't familiar, Ben Morin is Toizuki. Toizuki is in the house. Toizuki. Still have Toizuki stuff kicking around. I'm going to put it over here so it doesn't fall down though. It's a pretty precarious place. I set it down on top of a stack of tires over here. I thought it was going to go down. April 14th or 16th is the date. Okay. Well. Oh, man. When is... I think the following weekend. I think the 20th. Should be Saturday the 20th. Is a Ultra 4 race in Kentucky. So... I would be going to that the following weekend. For those of you who weren't on the live stream last week, Wesley was teasing these sliders a little bit. They go something like this. For the high-low. We're at in Kentucky. Rush, Kentucky. Rush. Where's Rush Off-Road Park? I don't remember. I don't know. They just tell me where to be. Tell me where to be and I show up there. I need to order a bunch of stuff for my side-by-side, though, if I'm going to race, because my fire suit, I need a new fire suit. And I need new 5-point harnesses because they are out of date, and I need new window nets because they are also out of date. You've typically 2 to 3 years on SFI tagging, and the races require SFI tagging. So basically all of my safety gear is out of date. I got to buy 3 new fire extinguishers because they are out of date. They're still full. They're still in the green, but they're out of date. And basically all the safety gear, because I bought all the safety gear all at the same time, it's basically all out of date now also. So I need to order like, I don't know, $1,500 to $2,000 worth of crap for the side-by-side in the next, like, ASAP if I'm going to race. I just thought about that. That sucks. Anybody want to buy a chassis? I need to go race my side-by-side. I haven't raced my side-by-side in, I haven't raced this side-by-side in 2 years. So it's time for it to come out of retirement and get beat down a little bit. I've been using my YXZ1000 as a UPS runner, parts runner, run around town. I street legaled it and plated it. So I drive it to lunch, and I run it to the bank, and I drive it to UPS store and post office and whatever. It's my around town summer vehicle, but it needs to go back to race duty for at least a couple of races this year. I get tired of just driving it like a normal human being. I want to be an asshole to it every now and then, so it needs to go to the racetrack. It's just unfortunate that everything's out of date on it now. I'll buy one in about a week and make a good order this weekend. Appreciate it. Maybe I can go racing after all. No, it's totally separate funds, but still. Working on my C1 Pro right now. Need to cut my deluxe drive shafts for it. What is the best way to measure the right length? Make sure you have the entire truck assembled. Make sure the transmission's where it needs to be. Make sure you have your wheelbase set where it's supposed to be. Make sure the shocks are on it and at the angle you think they need to be. Basically build the entire truck and do the drive shafts last. I have never personally messed with the deluxe drive shafts, so I don't know. I don't know how much travel there is on them to be able to tell you, to be able to recommend that for you. But yeah, make sure that you build the whole truck first. Got any sponsors? No, not anymore. I did back a couple years ago when I was racing full time. Had a handful, but now no. But that's okay. I'm not a professional racer anymore. Washed up old man now. I can't turn the camera around. If I was doing this from my phone tonight, I'd spin you around. There's a couple of banners in the shop where they had used pictures of me racing as in their advertisings on their banners and stuff. It's kind of cool having a 10-foot long, 4-foot by 10-foot banner with your race car on it as a national advertising thing. Is kind of cool. I thought it was anyway at the time, but now it's just a big old banner that hangs up in my shop. But yeah, had some people that helped me out a little bit on stuff. It's still expensive to race full time, but it does help a little bit to knock some of the some strange noises out front of the shop. I'm not entirely sure what it was. It could have been gunshots, but about five or six popping noises. Sounded like it was across the street. That's interesting. Have one on my hill climb bike. Well, yeah. So any little bit helps. The big one that helped a lot for me was fuel. There's a VP dealer reasonably close to me that carries bulk. They've got 110 and whatnot in bulk, and getting that at a reasonable price is huge. So, like in the side-by-sides, racing an hour-long woods race, we burn between 9 and 11 gallons of race fuel per race, and when a 5-gallon jug of C16 is $125, you're burning $300 worth of C16 in an hour. It gets expensive. Shoot first, ask questions later. This shop is not a place that you want to come into trying to shoot, I promise you, because you're not going to make it very far. You certainly won't make it back out the front door. Not raced in years, not bikes anyway. Yeah, I quit. So like racing dirt bikes, there's probably 100+ trophies and plaques sitting up on a shelf at the front of the shop. Started racing when I was 6. Racing dirt bikes when I was 6. So hair scrambles in the woods, whatnot. I never raced motocross, but everything I did was, hour-long plus races in the woods. So that was what I did. I'm not even going to attempt to turn the camera to show that. You wouldn't. It's all the way at the front of my shop anyway. You wouldn't really be able to tell. But done some dirt track racing. I've never done dirt track racing. It was mostly, like I said, hair scrambles, enduros, stuff like that. Riding in the woods, racing in the woods. But I quit doing that probably 2005 2005, 2006, somewhere in there. And then I started racing side-by-sides in 2016. So I wanted to get back into racing, but, old. And I'd hurt myself enough times on a dirt bike that I decided it was time for a roll cage. So that's why side-by-side, because roll cage. Old men and crashing don't go together very well. So, well, we got about 9 minutes left before I want to go home for the day. Like I said, I've been here since about 7 in the morning, and it's 9:50 now p.m. So I've done my time for today, and those of you, like I said, that ordered pacesetter chassis will have, if you ordered a carbon one, you already have tracking on that. If you ordered a G10 one, you'll have tracking on that first thing in the morning. If you ordered a carbon high-low, you'll have tracking on that first thing in the morning as well. But thank you guys all for ordering these. It's the launch of this has gone very well. I'm very, very pleased with the launch of this chassis. It's been doing very well the last couple days. So I thought I was doing big things. I thought I was doing big things too, but yeah. Racing King of the Hammers is probably the biggest race we've done is Racing King of the Hammers. I'm in northern Indiana, and King of the Hammers is in southern California, so you basically have to take your entire shop with you all the way across the country for 2.5 weeks at a time. So that is a big undertaking in itself, just to do that. Get to build some roll bars for my comp trucks now that my tabs came in. Nice. Late day, thanks for doing the show. Yeah, I like doing these on Monday nights, man. It's fun, just chatting and showing you guys the raw that goes behind the scenes that nobody really ever gets to see. You guys, everybody gets to see the photos of finished product online, but I want to be able to show you guys hey, I've been working, testing this today. I'm going to be testing it some more tomorrow or whatever. And I get to sit here and tell you guys how I make things, and I don't know. It's kind of fun. I like doing these. So it does make for a long day though, because I am always at the shop before 7:30 in the morning. So my kid gets on the bus at 7:15 in the morning, so I don't go back home and sit down and drink my coffee or whatever. I just come to work and get to work. So my machines are already running by 7:30, 7:45 in the morning. And there are days where I'm still here at 10 o'clock, like Mondays. But most of the time I'm out of here before 5:30, 5:45, I'm usually out of here. If I have to go to UPS, if I have to go to the UPS store to drop stuff off, the last UPS truck that goes to the UPS store down the road is 5 o'clock. So I don't usually come back to the shop after that, but sometimes I do. Printed a new grill for my C1 and it doesn't even fit. What time do you sit down to drink your coffee? I drink my coffee standing up. I don't even sit down and drink my coffee. I drink my coffee while I push those buttons over there. While I enter the incorrect offset for my drill. I don't even have that tube sitting around here anymore. While I enter the incorrect offset for my drill and drill a hole way off center. That's what I'm doing. Just pulled in and shop myself. Nice. Well, you were at it a long time before I was. So Monday is my day off, so it works great for me. It gives me something to listen to while I'm tinkering. I learned a lot listening to these. Well, I appreciate you watching. Hopefully I teach somebody something every time, but whether it's how not to act or how to build something. Oh, man. Anyway, 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. What are we going to talk about? 5 minutes. You guys let me know. What, damn. My brain brought up a question, and then I forgot it before my mouth spit it out. What do you guys want to see as far as new product? I mean, you guys tell me. You guys can suggest some stuff, and I will try to make them or tell you that your ideas suck. Either way is fine with me. Got new RC Fab tabs, roof rack, along with the roll bar tabs. I haven't used RC Fab tabs yet, but their stuff looks pretty nice. I haven't had the need because we do our own tabs like that, but their stuff does look nice. Roof racks are not my favorite thing now, though, with the new Sorco rules, so I'm trying not to run those on anything. Wesley did finally join us in the chat, and he will have internet for next week's live stream, so we'll try to get Wesley on again next week. Maybe we'll do like every other week. Maybe we'll do like every other week, me and Wesley, and then, whatever. I'll tell you tomorrow when you sit down to drink your coffee. Why? Because I'll message you and ask you if you're ready to ship my transfer case yet. Bumpers. Could do bumpers. There's just a lot of bumpers on the market, so it's kind of hard to not copy something that's already out there. Oh, speaking of copy, I was mad the other day because somebody in Taiwan already knocked off my flat skid Oracle chassis. That's I wasn't super pleased about that. It was identical, had the same number of holes and everything. That right pissed me off as soon as I saw that. And then said that he didn't copy it. Like you got from this. You got from this to this exactly the same without copying me. The same exact number of holes, the same shapes. You got there without copying me? Right, sure. Which upper link holes do you use on your C1 Pro? My personal C1 Pro, the upper rearmost hole. There's 4 holes up there, and I use the top rearmost hole. Hit me up when you're bored. I will. Till Crawler Canyon goes 2023 rules are pretty easy and light. But that's true. Canyon's not using 23 rules. So, and it was a straight up copy. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That was a direct, straight ass copy. And I was not pleased about it. So, if you guys see someone with a knockoff chassis that's copying stuff, either call them out or something, but don't buy knockoff shit. Please. Please don't buy knockoff shit. Ugh, drives me nuts. Hey guys, late but I'm here. You just made it just in time for me to go to bed. If I copied you for anything, it would be a miracle if it looked that good. Yeah. Well, the nice thing about copying is it looks exactly the way I wanted it to. And the shit part about it is like, it's not an expensive part. Like, the chassis is not expensive. Like Ben just said, supporting knockoffs won't bring innovation. I damn near deleted that chassis off the website. I was so mad. Like, it took them 23 days. 23 days is all that chassis has been available. 23 days before somebody knocked it off. It didn't even make it a solid month before somebody was already making copies of it overseas. That's not okay. I'm glad that I believe one of the admins deleted that guy's post on the SCX10 Pro owners group because it wasn't going anywhere positive, but yeah, I wasn't happy about it. So don't buy knockoffs. Anyway, that's about enough for the night. Thanks again, everybody, for stopping in and wasting a couple hours with me. Ben, good chatting with you, sir. I will hit you up tomorrow when I'm bored again. And Wesley, we'll try to get you on here next week. Everybody else, again, thanks for checking in. Thanks for chatting with me. And we will see you on the next one. Hopefully, like I said, next Monday. So, thanks, everybody.